Right now, I'm of the view that most of the large companies are very committed to sustainability as part of their own, let's say, business models. I also believe that because of our engagement at the level of the stock exchange of Mauritius to have a sustainability index, a number of listed companies are now very much engaged into the sustainability parameters. That's very important. We know very well that there are a number of standards or laws which will become mandatory. The S1 and the S2 of the ISSB will become mandatory sooner than later. And therefore, the earlier companies get engaged and adopt on that, that will be moving in the right direction. More importantly, in Mauritius, companies can mainstream sustainability, at the same time develop business opportunities like energy, for example. Mauritius can be a player in the question of producing renewable energy. Today, about 76% of our electricity is still fossil, and we want to reduce that percentage. We want to go for renewable energy, solar, biomass. One of the major action, I think, is to give meaning to the national biomass framework, which will unlock the full potential of biomass in Mauritius, at the same time increasing renewable energy for electricity, but more importantly, sustaining even the whole sugar sector in the future. I think this is one key factor that would really ensure that our future, both on the sugar sector and biomass electricity, will be sustainable. The two critical time I was involved at level of the JC with Rogers was when we were setting up the the code of corporate governance. That was between 2002 to 2004. The CEO at that time chaired the committee on corporate governance. There was a report done by the King's Report that led to the setting up of a committee on the code of good governance. Rogers played an important role. Governance is an important component of the health of an economy, especially of the private sector. We shouldn't forget that private sector today occupies 80% of the GDP, about more than 75% of investment, and contribute about 80% of total employment. Okay, so good corporate governance is a critical factor in the good health of the economy of Mauritius and of the companies. And in 2015, when Business Mauritius was set up, we set up 3 commissions. One was on Economic Commission, there was a second commission on social capital, a third commission on sustainability. And the CEO of Rogers was called to chair the Sustainability Commission. Today, sustainability is again a critical factor for the good health of the economy of Mauritius. And therefore, the engagement of private sector in sustainability, a major work was done for setting up a template for private sector through signature. And the CEO of Rogers played a very important role at the level of that commission on sustainability to set up the template for all the companies in Mauritius. That's very important. I think my enthusiasm has been essentially when you can achieve what is considered as a public good in the interest of the country. My years at the JC really gave me that enthusiasm because at the end of that long journey, there were results. It took, for example, 12 years to change the law on Landlord and Tenant Act. It took 14 years to come out with the National Biomass Framework. But at the end of the day, it is in the interest of the country, in the interest of the stakeholders, in the interest of private companies at the same time. So trying to rally those different interests, you have to do it only when you have the enthusiasm, and it must become contagious. One must be able to convince and to build trust. Trust is extremely important because stakeholders, when they have diverging views, you have to have the trust to bring together, to converge on those views. Sustainability is the biggest challenge of our time. My personal engagement, be as chair of the Rogers Committee on Sustainability, really have shown that one must really rally people, bring the parties together, and also be able to reconcile sustainability with real business opportunities. Around the biomass framework, for example, if we succeed now in giving real meaning to the national biomass framework in terms of the pricing, in terms of the visibility, in terms of the investment, we'll be able to bring about new economic activities. So these are examples where we can reconcile those diverging interests.